Hello, thank you for taking the time to view my curriculum map. My name is KellyMcCart, and in my curriculum map here, I have really attempted to tightly align my anchor standards, our performance learning outcomes, our performance standards, all into units with intriguing lessons to solve my problem of practice, which was I want to integrate our curriculum more toward a STEAM approach, since I work very closely with the STEM teacher in my building, as well as sort of build student input and student interest into my curriculum. So my first performance standard was that students would utilize and make a work of art by using brainstorming in the form of sketches, journals, mind maps, things of that criteria, 80% of the time. So my unit I decided to choose for this would be a fashion design unit, in which students are here challenged to create a fashion design, maybe out of any particular material, in the art room, and use sketches and brainstorming to come up with an idea. So my first two lessons in this would be a sort of like a fast or a quick draw fashion sketches, where students have to collaborate together doing sort of stream of consciousness drawings or quick doodles to just get as much sort of brainstorming on paper as they can, or a mix and match fashion design, where again we're using that brainstorming and sketching, which is part of my performance standard, to create a collaborative fashion unit. And the inspiration behind this was a project that I did with another group of students at a different school district, where we used recycled materials. These are Dorito bags from their cafeteria, to make sort of a trash fashion show. I haven't done it for many years, since like maybe 9 years ago, where I taught this, but I thought it might really integrate into my problem of practice with using STEM STEAM and student input, because students are really interested in fashion and creating all sorts of ideas. So this would be a way to align with my performance standard of sketches. My unit 2 is in the form of a print crawl, which is because I chose my performance standard to be students will experiment with different techniques and art supplies throughout the classroom. And I thought, what a better way to do this in the form of centers, and they could collect their prints in the form of sort of a print crawl or a print collection. So the lesson plan here are print crawl centers, where one day students are working through different centers in the art room, primarily using jelly prints or mono printing techniques to collect and experiment with, aligning with my performance standard, a variety of different material. And then enhancing on that performance standard would be my lesson 2, where their challenge is to take those prints and put them together in some kind of new way. So again, experimenting with materials. And this was inspired by something that happens in Lancaster City. This is a print crawl event that they do downtown every year in September, so right after the first week of school, where you go to all the different print shops downtown, and they do silk screening, and they have the old Gutenberg press, and you make a poster that you purchase, which is sponsors the local art college here. My week 3 project is a unit that I teach, and I'm hoping to use the performance standard here to enhance what I already do in the form of using critique. So my performance standard was that students will use feedback from classmates or a teacher to consider reworking a project or rework a project 80% of the time. And I'm looking for evidence of them doing that and some sort of reflection that they're going to use using their technology called Schoology. It's like a Google Classroom. So in the unit, students are working on a painting, and 2 of those lessons in that painting unit would include one, which is a glow and a grow, as a way of collecting feedback and then discussing constructive criticism, and then 2, a tag critique, where students would work together to ask a question, give suggestions, and then explain whether or not they use that suggestion to continue their painting. This is an example of the lesson that students did before. We did these as sort of collaborative design ideas, sort of intuitive drawing, for non-objective, and we filled these giant canvases that became a hallway display at our school. So I'm hoping by incorporating this performance standard here of using feedback, we can enhance some things that I've already done in a lesson that I teach for many years. And finally, my fourth unit is one on curation, because my performance standard was that students will demonstrate and use communication skills and teamwork to present a work of art. And I'm hoping that this, along with my last unit on non-objective painting, align a lot toward that student input portion of my problem of practice, and my first two maybe align a little more toward my STEAM and sort of the design and incorporating engineering and technology problem of practice. But my curation here is twofold. One unit, students are going to come up with and brainstorm, okay, again, that collaboration as a class, to come up with criteria for selecting works of art that would be in an actual art show, and then writing down that criteria and using that criteria to make choices of what artwork goes in. And then more of the engineering part of this would be working together or with a partner, or even if you're doing individually, if a student's working on a small space, making choices on how they're going to display the work of art that they've selected. So certainly this could tie into a STEAM concept of working with interior design or sales sort of design. You're trying to captivate interest, and also again taking that student input. So those are my 4 units: fashion design, non-objective painting, a print crawl, and art room curation. That all aligns to my performance standards to support the learning that kids are doing in the classroom. And then finally, solving my problem of practice of incorporating more STEAM and student input into my curriculum. Again, your feedback is always appreciated, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.